Yeah, certainly an argument that's hard to kind of go against. He checks all the boxes really well for this, and he does have a little bit of flexibility as well. I'd say if you need it, so you can pick it up early on too.
Yeah,
I'm
you could
curious what
force
this
Slardar.
means. I just can't help but get visions of maybe like Tomato PA could be heading our
Hmm.
way. Just imagine like the physical blow up between her, the jump in, the wisp, steroiding her and buffing her up further. On the other side,
This
though, that's a great support pickup.
this is like an old school counter to IO because you're going to be able to get like especially with the nerfs to Wyvern's ult being bad on like solo kills essentially. Obviously, it's going to be a support, not core or anything like that. But with an IO, you're going to be tethered to somebody, so chances are you're going to be able to get that ult off pretty consistently.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's also good with the cold embrace against any physical damage dealing, which you talked about the corrosive haze enabling them even further. But that is essentially a save if you don't get like a god awful gyro hybrid type, magic damage / physical damage dealer to deal with that.
Yeah, that's a really good pick. It just counters both of the heroes that were already picked so far in some way or another. So super solid picking from Black and Yellow as well. I don't think their first two picks are anything like crazy special. They're just generic, like really good heroes right now. Void Spirit has one of the best jumps in damage and scaling in the game, and then Lion is this disabling, strong laner who has a crap load of damage. So you're never unhappy with these heroes, but I think the Wyvern really is like one of these. Okay, they picked this for this specific draft that they're playing up against. And I agree with you, Dakota, that like there some PA or some hero that can be amplified by the both the Slaughter and the IO in particular in the late game would be really good here because the Slaughter is going to be a really nice hero to play with in the early game, but then he falls off. You want to make sure that you're getting. You always want a hero that you can play within the lanes, and then a hero that you can play with outside of the lanes with this IO. We don't see the hero that they're going to play with outside of the lanes so far.
The didn't we see for a while? I don't think it was in NA. It was in one of the other regions, maybe EU, where they did a lot of like Wisp Weaver and was taking advantage of the crazy move speed running all around. Another hero that you could probably amp up and take advantage of heavy additional physical abuse with the power of Slardar. But yeah, we'll have to see. In the meantime, though, Tidehunter comes out. Just a nice little off lane grab there for Zero. It looks like he's already played it a bit last week. Had some, you know, good ravages, good setups. He did make an MVP candidate in week number 2, so it's definitely a hero he's comfortable with.
Weaver's kind of looking rough as a hero, just in general. Okay, so they go with the Jug. Counters this Titan lane, and it's not this horrible, terrible gyrocopter that Sunsfan talked about, but it's still a hero that has some sort of magical damage to deal with the Wyvern. If
good.
you embrace somebody, you can still spin them down oftentimes if they're at like 20% HP, and they will die to just the spin damage. So it's a bit of a hybrid there, but not gyro.
Yeah, like to see it. Very consistent carry. Gives you some extra heal as well. But I mean, this isn't really a counter because they're going to die before they even gets this off. But Cold Embrace can be a good way to kind of counteract the Omni Slash to some degree. But I feel like in practice, that doesn't really work that well. Usually just dying ahead of time. Okay, so we're looking for a potential mid here, most likely, for Undying. Last pick, unless this is going to be an IO. How often do we see core IO these days?
In NA, like we
Not
only saw
often.
it by
I don't-
Quincy Crew at the major. No one played it in the league at all.
I don't think it works anymore because the spirit damage got like halved on in terms of the passive damage that the spirits do to creeps. So that's how Io would farm, is that constant like 40 DPS for every spirit. But it's like 25 now, so it's really terrible. I don't think you can go core Io.
They banned the Medusa. Yeah, I could see that being a pretty good option as someone who could have gone toe to toe with the Jug or Jug +1 if you're putting the Wisp in there too. But
so looking for a Brile hero. First thing I think of when it's Brile is Wind Ranger. Don't particularly like it, but it is a hero. I just have to mention it. And then an Envy hero, which
dude,
Wraith King's pretty meh this game.
Puck is still in the pool. Shockingly, like Puck is not. Am I crazy? Am I missing something? I feel like you just get Puck against the Void Spirit. I mean, sure, you're against Lion. It's just such a solid hero. Sets up for the relocate as well.
I still have one more ban to go, but yeah, that is weird. I just assumed it was banned. Okay, there it is. So Wraith King's out. I'm thinking Spectre potentially for Envy, some late game.
Yeah, that's why they banned the Viper. sadly.
Oh,
Spectre's like
yeah.
a 41% win rate hero. It's not looking too hot for this.
Well, you got that intel.
Ghost.
Is there anything you can do to help against that in your mid lane? Oh, it's not a mid lane. Psych. It's an
Ooh.
Underlord. That is a core wisp, right?
Uh,
No? Who's going mid?
No, mid Underlord, right? Mid Underlord,
Wait, is it
Slaughter
mid
off.
Underlord?
That's my guess.
I mean, it could be. It could
You
still
just
be a
say
core.
it like that's been a thing that we saw from time to time. But-
you know, people do the mid Underlord. I have seen it. I've never seen it in competitive in NA. I have seen like Sammy Boy, and I think I have seen Bryle actually play that in pubs. He will occasionally play the mid offlaners, like he'll play Mars and Underlord and stuff like that.
Oh,
They
still
put
Sven.
Sven into it. Okay.
Oh
Very
my God. All
interesting.
right, this is the game 3. Like this is the decider, a huge one, certainly for Undying. And it's a Bryle Underlord. I mean, yeah, you called it Suns fan, but you just said it like it's like a normal thing. When I've never seen this before. It wasn't at a league. It wasn't anything we've ever seen. Maybe it's in their
the one
scrims,
thing,
but what the hell?
yeah, I'm gonna go Undying. I kind of like this lineup. The Underlord with the bottle changes, or the rune changes, I should say. He can just spam out the waves constantly, and it's against a melee hero. So I think he's gonna get complete free from. The question is what itemization you go for as a core these days. I don't know, but it's kind of a cool lineup. I like it.
All right, Jenkins, real quick.
We'll go Undying as well. I think there's no Pudge, and they're a better team.
Are we about to witness some sort of new back pocket cheesy action here? I'm excited to look forward to it. We got to get into a break real quick, though. When we come back, we've got Lyrical and PPD and Pop-Tart on the obs.
Welcome back again, Dota fans. We're here for game number 3. Yes, we have gone the distance. We had a quick little break. The game is paused right now because apparently Zero had to pee. PPD, my man, how you feeling about this draft? How you feeling about the fact that we're still casting?
I'm excited for game 3. This is a huge. I mean, there's a lot on the line here. It's a huge test for Undying, right? Are they a step above the rest of everyone else, or are they still? They still have some things to work on. They're kind of like that third place team behind Quincy Crew and EG, but obviously, they were so close last season to qualifying over one of them, right? We had like tiebreakers where I wasn't sure who was going to come out on top. They got that short stick, unfortunately, but yeah, losing game 3 here would be devastating for them.
Absolutely. And the thing that's wild about it to me is that throughout the whole series, they did look like they were that step above. They're making the better moves. They were making the better calls. At times it felt like they had the better draft, but then in the end, somebody dies without buyback, and that's all it takes. And sometimes that's what separates a win from a loss. It's wild to me.
Yeah, so game 1 was a complete disaster for Black and Yellow. They lost lanes when they had like a laning phase heavy team. And the second game, they did much better in lanes, and they actually had pretty decent team fight, and they had a couple of good exchanges. But I think the inexperience and the better teamwork of Undying proved to be kind of eventually just helped them win. But patch things up, and they got the laning phase fixed for game 2, and if they can fix up that mid game team fight. For game 3, I feel like I kind of like their chances. They have the Sven again for Eternal Envy, which I think is a really great hero right now. You were kind of raising some questions and concerns about the Underlord mid, but I feel like you can make it work, especially against Void Spirit. He's going to have like a ton of free farm. The one thing he is sort of lacking is like that. It's hard for him to roam side lanes and stuff, so he's probably just going to play for his own game, kind of like that carry Bryle that we're used to seeing. So I think it's definitely going to be on Esk, especially in that Void Spirit, to sort of make things happen for his team. But ganking a Juggernaut is pretty tough as a Void Spirit.
Absolutely. And this guy has put in some really good performances so far. I've been very impressed with his play in the games. As well, maybe I'm going to caster curse him. No, he takes Assimilate level 1, gets out of there. So looks like it's going to be 2 apiece as far as the runes are concerned. But yeah, wanting to see him make some good moves early on here. We did have an all chat of Awuga coming from Tomato. So I don't know what that's about, but I'm liking it.
I'm not going to attempt to break down what that means. I feel like it's probably not too intelligent at the very least.
Jeez, dude.
Well, I mean, it's what does it mean? Okay, what do you think it means?
I don't know. He's just, wasn't that like a Fred Flintstone line?
I think so.
Okay. All right. We'll take your word for it then.
You got it. I'm worried about Eternal Envy, though, in his laning phase here, because this Wisp Slardar was first picked, and they picked the 5-position Wyvern, who is, one of the weaker laning supports. I'm not sure how... Slardar, or Sven can be good against Slardar, because he kind of cleaves on the melee creeps and does damage to Slardar, but Slardar also likes to play against melee heroes because of Bash and Slithering Crush, so I'm a bit worried about this bottom lane.
Okay, it'll be something to watch for sure. And if Moon can, sort of manipulate and mess around a lot with min-maxing that regen, could be really annoying to play against for sure. Something to watch for. But up top, we're also taking a look at this one. Witch Doctor, much stronger of a laner. Dubu taking that Voodoo Restoration level 1, going up against Zero and Yamsum, and actually getting the pressure on a couple more punches, but the spin down instead. Who's the first blood going to? One more punch. It's not enough for Dubu. Yamsun will fall.
Really hard to play on that, level when you're level 1. You kind of need that second spell, I think, to really make the difference in this matchup. And I think they probably could have they were doing so well and they were so far ahead, but they really just kind of all in there unnecessarily, and now they're a bit behind in the lane.
Frustrating for sure. Yamsun making the long walk over, wants to interrupt this pull, or the stack rather, and does manage to get that one. Tomato not able to stack up either. So this lane will keep on pushing in here, and they won't be able to do much, I would imagine. Mid, see that Void Spirit already a little bit behind that Underlord. Obviously the strength of the Atchfiora, pretty annoying to play against, and then just high base damage hero in general.
Definitely an Underlord favored matchup, just CS wise. You expect a lot of last hits and denies from Underlord over the Void Spirit. Will depend on that 6-minute rune, that 8-minute rune. Is Void Spirit able to get those? Is he able to get active? Can Radiant support help the Void Spirit? Maybe kill the Underlord. We'll have to wait and see. But definitely look for Radiant to get active, because the laning phase, their side lanes are not looking too great.
No.
The bottom lane looks okay, but it's going to get a little worse here pretty soon.
Right, and it's not like an outright win either. You kind of want to have a pretty good time there, I'd imagine, in your safe lane. Although there's a big creep wave coming in here too. So Envy should be able to get a lot of that, hopefully, barring any crazy stuns or what have you coming underneath the tower. As up top, Tomato going to be forced back again as they try and get this actually stacked up pull. Dubu able to get that on the 3-minute, and now this will deny out this wave here.
Yeah, really nice play from Dubu. It's kind of been the difference maker for the laning phase for Black and Yellow and Undying is the Yamsun versus Dubu matchup. You can see they talked about Yamsun kind of switching from, he's probably going to die here again.
Wow.
Really having a rough time in these games, really showing his inexperience on the 4 role. But Dubu, this guy plays a lot of 5, so it'd be hard to match up against probably one of the best 5s in NA, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, that's what everybody says about him, is that they want him on their team whenever they're playing pubs. You want a Dubu game.
For sure. He's the king of tryhards.
Yeah. That's the way to do it. We'll see if they can make up for it later. Yamsum did have a really good game last time around, but yeah, you can still sort of see the struggle he's having making that role switch up.
He really excelled on the Nyx, right? And Nyx is a bit of a different support. It's more like wave pull, kind of play for your own game sort of hero, where Lion is, more of a laner, right? He wants to stay on lane. He wants to work together with his offlane player to, eventually force the Juggernaut off top. But things are going the other direction here.
True.
And I think it was a bit of a critique to their draft, right? They had an opportunity to, they had already seen the Slardar. They knew Slardar was offlane. They could have picked their carry, but they chose to blind pick their Tidehunter instead and save last pick for Eternal Envy. And as a result, they get a Juggernaut versus Tide matchup for Dire. Pretty favorable, I think.
Well, they do manage to get out of there. Quick little tip over to Saberlight. Not sure what that one was about, but
I think he's missing some stuns on Slardar, so Envy keeps tipping him.
Got it. Yeah. I mean, for all that we've talked about it, it's not like it's been absolutely terrible. A couple waves been taken away up here, and you can see that down bottom too. It's not like Saberlight's... Well, he's going to get this pull back in towards the side, so maybe it is actually going that well.
Yeah, Dire's lineup is a little bit more laning heavy rather than like mid-game team fight. They don't really have a lot of spells on Dire, right? Their biggest cooldown is Relocate and Omni Slash. But besides those, no really team fight spells. Whereas on Radiant, we have Winter's Curse, God's Strength.
Oh, and Bryle trying to get out of there. Yamsun with the stun. Can they kill in time? No. Gets back home. Interesting.
Yeah, good try. Good try. Maybe we'll help him get 6-minute rune. That's kind of the big objective here. But yeah, Underlord, one of the heroes that really, shakes that off quite well, able to port himself back to base and get back to mid lane with a bottle refill, basically.
So they are trying to secure this one. Arcane. Oh, Dubu. That was a deny, but doesn't manage to get it. So Arcane Rune finished up and picked up for Esk here. And that hasn't really cost anybody much of anything. Envy's retreat to the jungle, so those moves mid do give Saberlight a little bit of catch-up time now.
Sure, and you see here, here's the glyph by Bryal on mid lane. He wants to save his catapult. This is a really nice window where he can punish the Void Spirit. Eventually, get a little tower damage. Arcane Rune does make Void Spirit's job a little bit easier as he's got that extra mana to work with. So a bit of tower damage, but this is going to give Esk an opportunity to get active on the map here. He can go back to base. He can refill his bottle and then look to gank a side lane with his, with his Astral Step.
Right.
I guess he can get the bounty rune. But yeah, this is where like Void Spirit goes to roam top or bottom, and one of the supports just takes mid lane because they can always just pull the creeps off the wave, and there's not like a catapult sitting there that's going to kill the tower.
Yeah.
However, it looks like we're just going to keep going with this laning phase, which I think is favoring Dire a little bit. And stacks are actually getting stolen by Underlord here. This is them abusing their laning phase to the max at the moment.
Yeah, it's big. Get a couple neutral items out of that one too. Not bad at all. And
yeah, because I was gonna say because the game is so laning phase focused at the moment, it's sometimes you actually need to like consciously be like, all right, somebody farm stacks. Like we need neutral items.
Right.
And yep, bottom lane looks like it's over. Right, tower's already dead with the first catapult. So that's a huge disaster for them. They used their last pick for their Sven, right, into that first pick or first phase Slardar. And that lane is over. Very bad sign for black and yellow.
Esk gonna get his bottle refilled by Jubei, who killed himself up on the Dire tier 2 tower bottom. But again, you're seeing like that. It feels like there's nowhere for him to go right now. Maybe they can make something happen. But again, Yamsum's gonna get caught in the river. This is going to be his third death. Oh, Ravage. Wait a minute. The turnaround. This is a huge fight for them, actually. But Ryle going to pop the ulti, try and get out of there, and it looks like that's going to be enough. So Ravage used, and they only get one kill on the Witch Doctor, and they still lose the Lion. Yeah. I don't know.
It's not a great trade, but they do need something, right? Yeah. And that's sort of the issue is like, where do they get anything at the moment? And it's tough. It really is tough because of them basically losing 3 lanes. It's going to be really hard. They need these big team fight ultimates to make a difference, and the earlier we are in the game, the less of a difference these big team fight ults make.
Yeah. Look at Tomato right now. Is actually Envy in the jungle gets found by Saberlight. He just punches him to death, dude. I think he had corrosive haze on him that whole time.
That's what you get for, tipping in lane. Then you just feed. Now you look like a fool.
No, Envy. That's not the way it's supposed to go. Oh, jeez. They do see these stacks now also, although I think that they're going to come and deward this right now. Although Dubu's here again. And trading off, and Saberlight in the area. They get the Maledict on him. Esk moving in with the help of Moon. Chase down. Ooh, okay. Cold Embrace keeping him alive for a minute, but I mean, he's just done.
Yeah, now there's just this level 6 Slardar with Tread's Bracer just running around the map. Like, they have no answer for him. Nobody can kill him, especially with the Wisp and the Witch Doctor heals behind him. They kind of just need to dodge and farm at the moment, which is really sad because they have the Void Spirit who, he kind of wants to fight, right? He's a ganker.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, nobody on Dire takes stacks very easily, so that one is going to stay alive now on these Ancients, which is something good at the very least. But likewise, it's not easy for Envy to go on in and take them themselves. He needs to take them really quickly, probably around this Echo Saber timing or whenever he decides to go for it. But they're just keeping on running at him. Amsun.
This is one of the
stun. Chase
one
down.
of the great ways to play against Sven. Sven is a hero that wants to abuse stacks and kind of play a slower game, because he hits his peak so early. But if you just invade his side of the map, there's nowhere really. He just kind of gets the same amount of farm as the other carry. If he's constantly like dodging and playing on side lanes,
right?
Can't really farm his triangle and stacks the way he wants to.
One spin up top to get out of there on Tomato. Esk, in the meantime, is going to try and get some counter push play, but they got 0. Maledict is out there. Bryle is still just so hard to deal with. 1400 HP with the bracer and a stick. Like, you can't touch this guy.
You were doubting.
I was totally doubting. It's because it's a big old slug.
I think any game, like this hero can be a fine mid laner. Any game where the Pit of Malice is really effective. And I think it is really good against Void Spirit, who really struggles with, catching random roots. And they also have like 3 melee cores, right? So it's going to be a lot of heroes stuck in the pit, which is very, very useful. He's going to get Atos as well. So you can kind of like, Pit of Malice, Atos, and then the Pit of Malice procs again. It's a huge lockdown where Sven will need BKB in order to take fights.
Back towards mid, they spot him again, but the Witch Doctor ulti comes out, and 0 trying to TP home. My man, that ain't gonna happen. The chase down now comes. They were able to clear out the Ancient stack at the very least, but it looks like Jubei likely to fall here. Do they let him go? No, they're still chasing. Poor old Jubei. Oh, God, just get crushed. Cold Embrace again, but the slow, steady beatdown continues, and the Wyvern will fall, and Saberlight keeps on going. Gives him one punch and then walks away afterwards.
Yeah, he's feeling pretty confident. Nobody can really touch any of these guys at the moment. And that's why Radiant really needs to focus their efforts on the side lanes. If these kills are happening, like all the way bottom or all the way top, it gives Eternal Envy a ton of information on the Sven in order to like continue to stay farm. But because they're getting caught around this mid lane, gonna get out. Okay. Yeah, but because they're getting caught on the mid lane, it doesn't really take them like they chase for these kills, they get these kills, and then they're already kind of where Eternal Envy wants to be farming.
Right.
But if they can really focus on just spreading out Dire, because they have they just have no business fighting at the moment because their lanes went so badly.
Jubei's still not even level 6. Lion has 6, almost 7 at this point, trying to get towards the Blink Dagger. He's actually halfway there on Yemsun. So that's something going their way. But this is a big smoke move into the triangle, anticipating finding Envy, but he's already backing away. And looks like he's going to make the escape. With Atos not done, there's no free pickoff here. But still being bullied around the map constantly.
Yeah, they're not taking the stacks, though, so Envy could maybe get those later. He's going to farm the other side of the map. They're doing a much better job on playing on the side lanes.
Yeah.
Yemsun is going to die top. Nobody wants to fight. Nobody wants to save him.
No.
Fortunately, that's just how it is. And you've got Esk, trying to do the same, right? He's trying to split on these side lanes, do a bit of ratting. Force Dire to chase.
0.
They're going to try out to 0 here bottom with the relocate.
Yeah, they got them with the spin down. Witch Doctor ulti afterwards. Big old crush, and he's done. And immediately the rest of Black and Yellow spread out. Try and get the extra bit of vision down. Oh, they're relocating for this one. Moon? Okay, nice play here.
Nice.
He's going to get caught. Yamsun is there afterwards with the stun. They find one kill and now looking for another on Saberlight. Undying got a little bit greedy with their moves, and can they chase him down in time? Oh, they get the slow. Envy looking, wanting to chase, wanting to find that kill. Has the stun back up again in a second. And
Nice.
they'll get the finish. Nicely played by Black and Yellow.
Yeah, things were getting really bad there. But, good call, good game sense. Recognize that relocate close to their tier 1 tower. Place they can bring numbers, get there fast. And yeah, they take full advantage of that. This Slardar was, he's not the highest farmed hero, but he was definitely a problem.
Yeah.
Jug is huge, though. Kind of looking like that game 1 Luna.
Right. Well, that's something I wanted to ask you about, Peter, because you've got like these two competing carries. Jug, obviously, incredibly strong meta hero this patch, but Sven with Warcry, giving you that bonus armor. You've got this Echo Saber now, which can slow down. Like, if they go into the late game with even footing, how do you feel about these two teams?
I feel like carry matchups are way less of a thing. It's more about like winning your lanes, and then your carries naturally just have more farm than the other carries. So,
oh, he found him.
Yeah, he's caught. It's not good.
Damn, dude. That's such a good play. And now another tip coming out. Envy, you can't hide anywhere. He's going to go down.
Yeah, basically, they got the... Nah. Basically what I was trying to say is, like, I think the carry with more farm just wins. That's kind of how it works. So the carry matchup matters a lot less, more so about, like, who's farmed. That's why Jug is so good, is because it's just so hard to gank him.
Right.
So you really need to, any deaths on your carry just set him so far back. Jug has 0 deaths, right? It's like almost impossible for Void Spirit to go gank him. Just always can spin TP or just spin and run away.
You know, there's something that we've seen Saberlight do a couple of different times now with all these tree paths that you can try and juke through. He's been like bashing up the 3 charges and then just A-clicking through the trees. And then obviously if you catch any sight of him, it immediately will stun. It's been kind of cool to watch. It's like a way to sort of outplay people with quick reactions.
Yeah, I think I watched him do it against Puck in a game.
Yeah.
Anyway, it worked really, really well. Really great catch for like this Void Spirit or anybody really, just A-clicking through the trees and getting that attack is even before you see the opponents usually.
Right. Esk gets caught in a lot of trouble. Just dead. Done. That's all it takes. Undying really starting to go now and rock on all cylinders.
Yeah, Ato's online for Underlord. Nothing is stopping him, and he's actually going to get the Solar Crest for his team. So actually, kind of like that, even more like that game 1 where he was playing Invoker and he got the the Solar Crest for his team as well.
Right. Just boosting up Tomato, and they've
got Mech on Wisp. They're going to have Glimmer Cape on Witch Doctor eventually. Solar Crest on Underlord, and I think at that point, they'll look to get a kill and force Roche.
Mm-hmm. Tomato, as you mentioned, is huge this game. Sanjin Yasha just now completed after Battle Fury.
Yeah, forcing Roche now. Don't see Radiant showing up to this one.
No.
So, looks like Dire's game to lose, but we have been here before.
True. I will say with the IO and the Underlord, like the potential to punish any misplays is super high this game.
Dire's going to catch on bottom. They have Relo. They can bring Jug.
Well, 0.
It's looking pretty dead.
Yeah, he's donezo here. They TP'd out on the rest of them. I mean, it's 3-14. I'm trying to look real quickly when the last kill was that they had on Radiant. It's been a while, it feels like. I guess there was that IO relocate. That was it, pretty much.
Yeah.
On the 2 of them.
Dire's making very few mistakes at the moment. Which, it helps. When you win all of your lanes, you can kind of just 5-man around, and Radiant really has no business fighting you.
Yeah.
As long as you don't like atrociously walk into like any terrible high grounds where you get 5-man ravaged or cursed.
Mm-hmm. Well,
we should kind of play itself pretty easy.
Well, and to be fair, there is some potential for that. You got Underlord. If he dark grifts everybody in, that's a dangerous place to be, maybe.
Like he's probably not going to want to use it like that.
Yeah. Sun goes on in here. I do really like Radiant wards. They've been put in these places that are just like a little bit outside of vision. They've been able to keep, 3 to 4 wards up at any given time. It feels like.
Yeah, these wards are not as good as the hill wards, but if you kind of just like place them right outside that sentry range, right, where the sentry, if they put their sentry right on the hill, how much can it see? And then you put your ward right outside that, it's probably not going to get dewarded.
Oh god,
and he's super caught here. He's pretty dead. No BKB.
Yeah.
Even if he had it, I don't know if he gets out. This is so funny. Saberlight just keeps tipping him. Like Eternal Envy was like bragging about how he won the, or I don't know. Eternal Envy was bragging about how Slardar missed like 2 or 3 stuns in laning phase when they last picked Envy's hero, and he lost his tower at 7 minutes.
Yeah, he needs to take a second to reflect.
And he's playing with Ping from Europe.
Yeah,
like, come on.
Saberlight just taking it to him a little bit there. That's fair.
No shame, man.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? If you want to get in the other team's head, that's the way to do it. Unfortunately, it seems like Saberlight.
You got to back it up with a little bit of play.
Well, it seems like Saberlight might be the type of player that responds better to people giving you a call out. There are the players like that, it feels like, that just play better when they feel like they've been wronged in some way.
Yeah. I think Radiant Shaft was just really hard for them to win their lanes.
Thinking about a winner's curse, gonna go for the cold embrace. Envy's like, do we try and save my buddy or not? He's rooted again. Jubei going to drop. Probably a good decision not to throw out that curse.
Nah, they're in a position where they're kind of just defending high ground, I think.
Yeah. And while 6,000 gold lead, we've seen comebacks from that before. The way it tends to happen is if you can stay out on the map, and it just feels like that's not something that they can do at all on black and yellow right now.
No, and here goes 0 pushing bottom again.
Yeah.
Fortunately, kind of needs to do this for his team. This is like the only thing that's making space for Envy to hit creeps, and Envy desperately needs his BKB.
Oh
But
god,
they're just reloading back mid.
Oh no, Envy! No, he's going down again. They run out of tips at this point. That's the question. The complete and total outplay as the spin down continues. Io's not even gonna die. Oh no.
All right, so do you call it here, or do you hang on?
I mean,
So, I mean,
after
it is
last game,
it is game 3.
that's true. Oh, stun comes out. The crush, the root, round 2. Esk tries to get out, gets the dissimulate away, but will die in the end to Bryle. Oh man, jigs up indeed. Devastating.
This one is ugly. This is all right. Is this a Gaben tier shellacking?
I think so.
I get a 3-2-2 here for the Twitch chat here pretty soon.
We'll see. I mean, we might get a
21. No.
we might get a 3-3-3 the way this is going, Peter.
I mean, it is possible, I suppose. I feel like the game will be over before then. I'll take under 33 kills.
Okay. Let's see. Damn son. Getting brought down somewhat low. Saberlight still living. Big pit of malice afterwards with the firestorm.
Wait, 15 talent for Underlord. Which one did he get?
Oh.
No, the 10
Firestorm.
one. Yeah, 10. He didn't get the Firestorm Radius. I think it's
Oh.
actually pretty good.
Oh.
Favoring the armor, more tanky, but
That is a big radius. I hadn't thought about how big that is before.
it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Radiuses are always deceiving like that on those circular spells.
A lot of times the talents that the way I like to think about talents is like, does it make my hero better at being my hero?
Right. Yeah.
So if it affects my spells, like I'll almost always take that over like armor or movement speed or HP, something like that.
Okay. Hey, you can buy armor. You can't buy radius.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
It's good. It's it's a ton of damage. Nobody likes to stand in Firestorm. Make Firestorm bigger.
I have to try that one.
You an Underlord player?
I dabble a little bit. The thing about Underlord that always intrigues me is he's got the highest win rate of any hero in pubs.
Really?
Yeah.
Higher than Meepo.
Yes, believe it or not.
Impressive.
Dude,
Meepo
Jubei
boosters.
is just getting swiped down here. Oh god, and then the Haystring gets him away afterwards, looking for the kill,
Dubu.
but the save coming from Moon. Dubu, no man
Late
left
VKB.
behind, and now Esk also gets dropped. Damn, dude. Oh, man.
3-2-2.
We're there.
3-2-2.
It's happened. Moon is celebrating also.
This draft was pretty 3-2-2 from Radiant, I think.
It was not great.
Winter Wyvern, safe lane, position 5. It's just not a thing, man. This reminds me of Jubei's hero pool last DPC season. They would first pick him some 5 position AA, and he would go to his lane, and they would lose their tower at 6 minutes, and they'd be like, oh, no, why'd we lose?
I think that was, I think you and I casted a Jubei game where he played Winter Wyvern that one too.
Yeah, Winter Wyvern and AA, and it's like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah.
There's a reason why we see Warlock and Snapfire almost every game from 5, or
Right.
they're meta.
It hurts. It hurts to watch. This has been a rough one. The thing about it though is after last game, I think as Black and Yellow, you don't want to GG out because it's well, we felt like this last game too, but now, we ended up winning that game.
The question is, do you have anything better to do with your time?
That's a fair
Right.
point. Yeah.
Answer's probably no.
Yeah.
And you never know. I mean, they could win. I do truly believe that games are decided on second Roshan. However, with this lead, I think it might be tough for Radiant to even, come out of the base to contest that second Rosh.
Right. They are definitely in need of something here. We are getting close to those tier 3 items. At least Radiant have all of those for themselves. This feels like one of those last-minute desperation smokes here.
I think Jug is too farmed. I feel like, they can just end the game right now. He's unkillable. He's got Scotty. He's getting got his Eagle Song towards his Butterfly. He's got a Wisp and a Healing Ward behind him, and they're trying to wrap here onto Bryle.
Ooh, Bryle. No, but the turn. Able to live for a little bit longer, trying to bring him down. He is gaining life. Too much regen coming in the turnaround spin. The Winter's Curse will not stop it. GG is called. And yeah, Undying, they take care of business here in the end. Super GG indeed from Saberlight. He's feeling good about himself. He had a hell of a game.
I mean, Well deserved. Little BM there from Saberlight. Obviously, a bit excited on this series. Congrats to Team Undying, but your further test is ahead of you. You've got all your easy wins out the way. Good work on that. But next up is EG and Quincy Crew. Will it be able to take them down this season? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if if they're going to throw games like Game 2, maybe they don't have what it takes.
It's a good point. And I think that there's stuff to learn from this, a little bit of hubris maybe to be trying gained,
Don't pick Pudge, right?
Yeah,
I agree.
exactly.
I agree.
That's a fair point. I mean, and Black and Yellow, I think that, it's, it felt like they did gain some amount of strength and they got better going to Game 2, and then Game 3, it just it felt like Undying was sort of taking it maybe a little bit more seriously too. And, they weren't diving fountain and just standing there as Tomato or sundering his puck or whatever. But I don't know, it looks good. I'm curious to see if they can sort of try and establish themselves as that fourth team or whatever. I want to see how their match against Zoomers goes.
That should be a good match. Any idea when that's happening?
In the future.
In the future, yes. Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to the future then.
Absolutely. All right. Well, with that, we are going to end the series here. Black and Yellow will lose Undying, continuing the winning streak, 2-1 for them in the end. But for now, we're going to talk to the panel, let them break it all down. But first, to a quick break. See y'all afterwards.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Undying fans rejoice. They will secure the W here. Don't have to be nervous any longer. The envy factor is now gone, and they do survive. And as nervous as it was for game number 2 and exciting as it was game number 3, certainly a beatdown. One, I imagine, is worthy of a ranking. So with that said, let's toss it over to the far other end of the panel where we have Suns fan to give us the shellacking.
This was an S-tier shellacking, gentlemen. Finally used a different term because we refreshed ourselves on the very complex nature of our tier system we have going here.
Yes.
Not quite Gaben level. That needs I feel like there's only a special few games a year that can be classified as that. But S-tier for sure. Tomato farmed extremely well, just like literally every other game in this series. But I think the difference was Jug can kind of get involved in fights a little bit earlier. He can take high ground. He's got a lot of heal between him and Io. Great global presence with Io in addition to Underlord. And it just felt like Black and Yellow had zero answer to Underlord mid. It was against 3 melee heroes like PPD was talking about. Firestorm, great against melee heroes. Pit of Malice, great against melee heroes. Not sure how this hero... I know Firestorm does percentage-based damage, but I don't know how the hero scales super late game these days with his ags being changed. But obviously in a game like this, it looked really good.
Yeah, I think when you have some Slardar offlane who's functioning kind of as a semi-carry, Saberlight was really popping off that game. And of course, Juggernaut, who with the Slardar is going to basically outcarry anything in the late game just because of the raw amplification. It's kind of fine if the Underlord just scales in terms of utility, right? Because you don't need damage. All he needs to do is chain stun these melee heroes in the pit, and that's exactly what he was doing. It looked so annoying to try to deal with him in these fights. Eternal Envy couldn't. I mean, between the bashes and the Atoses and the pits, it's the guy couldn't move.
Do you think now that based on that, Underlord should be something we could expect more of moving forward? Or was this just an exceptionally niche opportunity in game to kind of pull it out? Because, again, I guess I will be the one that's hey, I haven't seen this before. Everyone's acting like this is, oh, yeah, this is the right time. Totally cool. Underlord mid lane. Seen it before.
There's a couple things. Jenkins is right that you need some sort of a semi-carry to help propel you into the late game, unless you want to finish early. This game, they didn't really need a semi-carry at all, but it just has that kind of that fail-safe, so to speak. But I think, like I said, with the rune changes, you can put a lot of melee heroes mid that you couldn't before, because you can just refresh your garbage over and over and over. It's made it a more melee-friendly lane, in my opinion, which I'm very happy to see.
Nuker-friendly, too.
Seems like we do have a winner interview ready to go. So why don't we go ahead and bring in Mr. Moon Meander. Moon, GG's, congratulations, and welcome to the broadcast.
Hi, thank you. How you guys
thank
doing?
you for the incredibly entertaining series. You guys get a clean game 1. Game 2, you treat us to a pudge, and it looked like it was your game, but then Envy shows up, and suddenly that's not the case. Game 3, we get a Wisp, we get an Underlord, and at the very, very end, Saberlight puts a bow on top saying it's a super GG. Moon, what's a super GG mean?
Super GG, I guess,
Or what would
like
that mean to you?
I think it's like it was a really good series. I told my team like we already like secured the win against Zoomers. Let's have some fun this game. Game 2 after we secure game 1 win. Let's try Pudge, and then they were like, your Pudge is kind of heavy, so like, it's fine, I'll just try it. And we almost won, and then freaking Eternal Envy pulled out like some Rengoku, like Flame Hashira, 9-form Rengoku Savan just shit on us so hard, and then we just like got thrown. We got thrown, and I was like lost for words. I was like, damn, we just lost. I didn't think they would go thrown. That's why I was reading bottom. I thought they were just gonna take one set of racks and reset the map, but this guys went for the win, and then they saw the angle. I didn't see it. And we got game 3, yeah. So a super GG game 3.
That shit was hype. You got hit. I saw Tomato like get thrown out of his own body in a shadow, just blah 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 blah, get blasted away. Good stuff. I have Jenkins and of course Suns fan here, who I'm sure are biting at the opportunity to ask you a question. Jenkins, we'll go your way first.
Absolutely. First and foremost, Moon, I got to say, from one Pudge enjoyer, connoisseur to another, beautiful Pudge gameplay. I'm sorry you couldn't carry your heavy team in that game. There's some very nice hooks. So I got to ask, is there anybody whose replays you study to master that Pudge performance? Do you watch a lot of crit, or how do you study to do that?
It's just crit.
Okay.
No one else is like same level of this guy. This guy's Pudge is like insane, and
yeah, not
I tried
even
to
Gremlo.
model
You
my
don't think
gameplay a little
Gremlo
bit.
brings a good
And
Pudge?
a little bit of
You don't think
Jenkins. I did watch a Jenkins video where he's like, "Oh, Pudge is OP," and then he hides in the tree. So I'm like, "Guys, we're gonna first let them at this one spot, this stupid Jenkins spot." And then Dubu ruined it by leaping and destroying the tree so the guy could walk out, because you hooked the guy and you body block with the first blood. I didn't explain it to them, but when he started, I was like, "Oh no, the trees got cut." And I was like, "That's my free first blood." I would have like snowballed the game from there.
Yeah,
but it's all good.
Gotta watch the video. Okay, Suns fan, you can. I gotta. When you fuck up your question, I will.
Okay.
I will come in with something else afterwards.
All right. Well, in that case, I have one comment and 2 questions, and then Jenkins can finish us off with whatever god awfulness he has planned. First of all, I have to comment on your amazing cat tower behind you. I have the exact same one behind me, just a different color. So good choice, Mr. Moon Meander. Can you tell me what your confidence is in your team's performances thus far throughout the DPC? Do you guys think you're ready to be one of those top 2 teams?
Yes, I think we can try to contest EG. Hopefully, I think Quincy Crew, we are kind of even, and I think we got all the cheeses out of the way. The team I was afraid the most, honestly, was the 2 base team, because the Broodmother. I'm like thinking like I might have to give up Broodmother. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna ban Beast Brood. I don't care, Warlock or whatever. Let them have it. Yeah, and this team too. I think they wanted Timbersaw, so we banned the Timbersaw game 2. We had a plan for Timbersaw game 1, but game 2 I just banned it. I don't really care about their Warlock.
Yeah. All right. Last question from me before Jenkins finishes us off. I asked Tomato the same question, but I figured I'd ask you since it is about you. You are known for your motivational speeches. Of course, they've changed from back in the day. They've transformed a bit. What would you say your typical motivational speech would be in a nutshell for your team to kind of like? Do you still hype them up before games? Is that even needed anymore?
Yeah, it's in some ways like sometimes I will give them motivation if we lose. It's like whatever. If we lose, like in my heart there's a win, that kind of scenario, or sort of pick them up. Like I'll explain to them why we lost in detail, so they understand why they lost. So it's not like, oh, how did we just lose? Or like before a series starts, I'll prep them up like, this is what I'm gonna do. This is why I'm doing this, because this team likes to do this, so I'm doing this to counter what they like to do. And then they're like, oh, okay, I understand why he's drafting and picking all this. And then everyone's on the same page. I kind of bring everyone in the same boat with me, so that everyone knows what I'm trying to achieve. And I feel like we are a strong team because we understand each other.
Definitely looks that way this season. My question is, what are you watching these days? Now that Attack on Titan's on pause, what are you watching lately?
Rewatched Demon Slayer before I watched the movie. When the movie tickets first came out the day off, I bought the tickets and I watched the movie. It's like one of the best movies I ever watched. Honestly, it's like Inception level. I know people maybe think I'm crazy, but the movie is actually really, really good. And I'm just like obsessed with it right now. I just keep rewatching the scenes, and my favorite new character is the Flame Hashira Rengoku. He
Haven't
swings a
seen the Demon
big
Slayer.
giant red sword. Sounds familiar? That's why I said we just met against Rengoku in that game too. It's some freaking
Yeah.
big ass event. He was so shocking because he was running down. He was man fighting my Terrorblade late game, and he killed them too. I was like, what the hell is going on here? Maybe he's some
Yeah.
crazy, some crazy EE tactics.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
He had a Demon Slayer shirt on, actually. I think in his picture.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
No,
Or no, maybe it was the hero. My Hero.
Academia.
Yeah, it was My Hero.
You
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
your anime. I'm sorry,
Mabi,
Moon.
Mabi.
I apologize for him. All right, we gotta let you go though, because we do have another series to get into. Moon, thank you so much for hopping on the broadcast. GG, and we look forward to watching you guys next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shouts to Moon, of course. Lots of love his way. And, of course, congratulations to Undying. They score the win. But, gentlemen, we do really need to get into a break because we do have a hype series to get into next. It is going to be Sad Boys versus 2Base. Both these teams, they want to remain in D1. To do so, they need to take down the team on the other side. Let's get into a break. When we come back, we'll hop into it.